Hey, how's it going? I don't know what's going to come out of me in this video, but I really want to record something every day and upload something every day because I really want to express myself and put myself out there in a way. It feels important to me to do. I don't know why that is exactly, but I know that there have been times in my life where I've felt like I didn't have a voice, which I know is kind of, well, I don't know what it is. It's just, I guess it's not a nice feeling. And feeling that I want to inch closer and closer into the direction of being more vulnerable, more open. That is tricky though. I don't know whether YouTube is exactly the right space for that or not. I guess I'm figuring it out. Because I guess sometimes sharing a private thought can have real life consequences, and that's the biggest kind of fear, I guess, that I would have regarding that. Because thoughts can be quite experimental. So they can potentially go to dark places or just experimental places, and that could get judged quite harshly and have, like I said, potentially real life consequences, negative consequences. And that feels quite constrictive, I would say. I feel like I want to be an open book. But instead, I feel like I'm constantly inhibiting a lot of stuff. And not letting everything that's inside me come out and into the world. And to be honest, I think that a lot of the time that even stops me from experiencing a lot of it. Because when you start hiding something from someone else, I think you end up hiding it from yourself as well. I think that's kind of interesting. That kind of plays into censorship in general. If you start like not saying certain words in society, not talking about certain things, it definitely affects the way you think about those things as well. Yeah. But what else can I say, really? I'm in a transitionary period, I feel like, having moved out recently. And I'm figuring out how to live by myself, and I'm making some big changes in my life that my family won't approve of. I haven't told them yet that I'm quitting my job and not taking up another job. And I've always felt like anxiety put on me by other people has negatively affected me quite a lot. So I feel like that's going to be a challenge to really build my inner confidence enough to be okay with all of that. Yeah. I feel like these are the ramblings of a man who doesn't really know how to communicate with an audience. Like empathize with what someone wants to listen about. I have that experience sometimes with friends even where I'm talking and like their face just kind of glazes over. Because I guess I'm not being like interesting or something. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like there's a protective wall all the way around like my heart, I guess. I feel like, in a manner of speaking, my inner child has a lot of love for everyone, but like I've learnt that expressing love is unacceptable or something. And that makes me think about A Course in Miracles, which is a book that I read that talks a lot about like special relationships, which is like, oh, this is my special person, or like basically singling out a person. And that kind of makes you and that person special and in your own world. This is just an idea, by the way, but that's what it makes me think of, like this kind of inner child walled off thing wants to just love everyone unconditionally, but it's behind this wall. So I guess in theory, like the more special love, where you single out a person, you're determining that that person is like trustworthy enough to let into that wall. Yeah. Every time I think about uploading videos, I sort of think, who do I want to portray myself as? I don't know. It feels like the problem with being more raw is that I'm going to be inconsistent because I don't always think the same thoughts. Sometimes I think the opposite. And that like loses confidence like of people maybe, or I don't know, it's not, if I'm raw, I'm not catering specifically to what is going to help people. Like, who am I even talking to right now, you know? I don't really expect that many people, if anyone, is going to watch this. What's my goal here? I guess just thinking out loud, I'm trying to get to the truest version of myself and embody that. But I want to go on the journey with the audience if they want to come. If you want to come, I guess, like, I want to get to the truest version of myself and be on the journey with the audience to get there collectively, something like that. The example that comes to mind for me is I used to listen to Bill Burr clips, and there's a definite like character arc in his like podcast clips because I think his podcast spans like decades or something, probably at least 1 decade, I would say. So there's really like a lot of character growth in there, and I felt like I started off listening more the earlier stuff and gradually progressed to the newer stuff, and that psychologically took me on a journey. I feel like I want something similar. Where I'm bettering myself and figuring out who I am, and then that leads to something. I definitely have certain resistances in my mind to becoming more entertaining as well. Like, the thought of it seems kind of ungenuine, but I am kind of open to it as well, because I don't know. Just as long as I still feel like it's an expression of me, you know. So I find it confusing to think about. Yeah. I guess figuring out my frame of mind regarding this whole YouTube thing would be quite useful, I think. I'm really into mind mapping, so doing some mind mapping sessions around that could really help me find my voice maybe on this platform. Yeah. Well, it's been nice chatting with you. And I think you're awesome. And I love you. Peace.